There is no law, and to date, nobody has been able to show that there is a law for the average American citizen working day in and day out to pay an income tax.
There is no law. There is no law that requires the average American worker in the private sector to pay a direct, unapportioned tax on their labor and compensation.
All those guys, I think, can answer your question about, where in the tax law it says that you have to pay taxes.
Wow, good news, I thought. So I called Sheldon Cohen because he used to be the I.R.S. commissioner. He wrote the tax code, and he was also general counsel to the I.R.S. He is a true expert, and I couldn't find a better person to answer my questions. He graciously agreed to my interview. The reason I'm doing this documentary is because there are many people in America today who believe that there's no law that requires them to pay an income tax or file a 1040. And there are many people going to jail for it, fighting over it.
The Internal Revenue Code is authorized by the 16th Amendment.
What does voluntary compliance mean? And why does the I.R.S. code say it's voluntary to comply, not mandatory?
That's a word euphemism we use. We use voluntary compliance when we talk about traffic signals.
That was a complete perversion of logic. Traffic laws state that it is mandatory to stop at a red light. The I.R.S. code says it's voluntary to comply. Mandatory and voluntary are the complete opposite of each other. Yet he wants us to believe that they mean the same thing.
Big developments in the Wesley Snipes tax evasion case.
Today, the U.S. Marshal in Orlando ordered the actor to report to prison next week. This latest move comes 2 weeks after a similar order from a federal magistrate in Ocala.
In 2008, Snipes was found guilty in Ocala of failing to file income taxes.
I'm Jennifer Bellamy in the 11 Alive News studio with a breaking update on that mask debate we've been hearing so much about all week. The CDC is now recommending people voluntarily wear a mask in public.
Mayor Lauren McLean saying she would be signing an emergency order that requires face coverings in the city of Boise. Explain what this means and the whole voluntary aspect of this.
As far as the voluntary aspect, I think that most folks in Boise are pretty compliant and really concerned with public health, and so we don't see that as being a big issue going into this.
Wait till there's a mask wearing ordinance in your area to wear one. Don't just wear one because you might get a $200 ticket if you don't. Wear one because you might save your life.
Like more than 20 other states have already done, Governor Polis will not issue a mandatory mask order. Opting out is no longer an option. Effective at midnight, masks are the law of the land in any public indoor space for anyone 11 or older.
Governor Polis issuing that order to prevent Colorado from becoming the next national hotspot.
Like anybody who cares about liberty and freedom, I'm resistant to institute a statewide mandate, but it's clear that at this point in time, this is the least bad of the options that we have at our disposal.
Could the government force us to wear masks?
Yes.
Across the country, 29 states, including Nevada, now have mask mandates.
And we expect a flu shot program will begin soon. This program will be completely voluntary.
Said it would be okay for the government to force us to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
You back
If
that
the
up
vaccine,
legally?
yes.
So what is Project Jumpstart?
Well, Project Jumpstart is an emergency and temporary program in the battle against COVID-19. It's a public-private partnership to ensure that by year end, we'll have at least 100 million doses ready to inject of a vaccine or therapeutic assuming one is available.
How does the optional RFID chip work?
Well, each of these devices that are injected have the capacity to also have a small chip. What that chip does is it has the unique serial number for each dose. It is designed so that there is no counterfeiting. It's designed so that we'll know exactly that the right dose hasn't expired. However, that chip only refers to the dose. There's no personal information, no patient information. It's simply like a barcode, only we know instantaneously where and when that dose has been used. That also helps public health officials know when there are outbreaks, have we vaccinated enough people in those areas? That technology is purely optional, however, and the U.S. government hasn't even decided if they're going to use it.
Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these videos, please share and subscribe to the Red Lodge Underground channel.